This is Ben from Testive, and we're answering an SAT reading question. This question says, the main effect of the final phrase of the passage, I make it through life only narrowly avoiding becoming a jailbird, is to. All right, so what's the effect of this final phrase? I looked through the answer choices here, and it's helpful in this case, I think, to see, to kind of categorize these answer choices because they're not all variations on the same thing. They're kind of two different sets of answer choices here. Blame the narrator's situation on unlucky circumstances, or emphasize that the anecdotes the narrator has shared are indicative of his character, are sort of opposites. The first answer choice is saying, well, it was luck, it doesn't really have to do with me, it's not my fault that I've had this series of things happen throughout my life. The second one basically says, well, it's kind of well ingrained in me, it's part of who I am, that's why I've given all these examples. The third and fourth answer choices are also sort of opposites. They're saying, the third one is basically saying, well, this shows that the parents shouldn't be so worried. The fourth one says, well, actually, what the narrator did was worse than just mischief. Okay, so first of all, I think we can rule out that it shows why the narrator's parents worry more than they ought to. We see how worried his parents are in the last paragraph, but the fact that he makes it through life only narrowly avoiding becoming a jailbird doesn't seem to fit with the idea that they worry more than they ought to. It seems like, they probably worry about the right amount, okay? But at the same time, he is saying that he avoids becoming a jailbird. So ultimately, his wrongdoing is basically mischief. He hasn't suffered legal consequences for it. So I don't think it's really either of these answer choices. I'm not going to cross them off yet because I haven't checked out whether the other two might be right. Blame the narrator's situation on unlucky circumstances. Well, we know right from the introduction and what we've discussed over and over throughout this passage that the theme of this is that it's sort of it's a fundamental trait of the narrators that he's reckless and foolish. So that's not just bad luck. I mean, I guess that sort of it being an inheritance kind of is bad luck, but he gives examples over and over where he makes decisions. So I don't think it's going to be that one compared to the idea that the anecdotes he's shared are indicative of his character, something true and real and lasting about him as a person. Now, does the last sentence emphasize that? Yeah, because he's talking about his whole life. He basically he says, I am just as you see me. I am just as you see me is saying, there's no illusion here. I really am this way. And then he emphasizes that by explaining what he means when he says what you see. You see someone who does things over and over that almost land him in jail. So to me, this answer choice is more correct. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. This answer choice is more correct than the latter answer choices where we're kind of choosing between two options that aren't very good. So I'm going to choose this one because that seems to be the purpose of the whole passage, and this is the conclusion.